I'm up a freaking just playing with bananas since Wayne got locked. We ain't selling niggas hand.
I'm a professional, street smart intellectual, fresh out of that federal correctional. Faggot nigga, you bisexual. I'm from DC congressional. You ain't nothing special, fool. Extraterrestrial dude. I drop knowledge like professors do. Weapons pull, fully loaded weapons full. Pit bull, terrier. I'm from a sick little area. Low chops, burning the flowers, whipping butter, churning the chowder.
Fuck around with my team. We'll run you over, man. We'll run you over. We'll run you over, man. 100 round with that beam. These guns can't host it, man. These guns can't host it, man. These guns can't host it, man. Got your bitch on D, and she a deep dope, man. She a deep dope.
Y'all remember these? For all the 80s babies out there. Y'all remember these? Cabbage Patch Kids. Y'all remember the Cabbage Patch Kids? All the 80s babies. Stand up if you an 80s baby. You remember the Cabbage Patch Kids? Some people probably remember this but don't know the deeper meaning behind these Cabbage Patch Kids. Right? Some of us just thought it was like a quirky Christmas gift, toy at the time. You know, the Cabbage Patch Kids. It was like a My Buddy doll. It was a doll. But nobody knew the significance of the cabbage. You know, the Cabbage Patch Kids. I just want to point out the tone of the kids. You see what pigmentation they display, right? The Tamahu, the created race, right? Yakub, right? The homunculus, right? Let's get into it. You know me, I'm gonna walk you down the rabbit hole. The Cabbage Patch Kids, you know, the created child, the Immaculate Conception, you know, the child of no parent. You know, Immaculate Conception is one parent, okay? The Immaculate Conception. And I'm just gonna show you the dolls, you know, just to make it real. Because when we get to talking about it, for those of us that don't know where we're going, it's gonna get unreal, you know what I mean? Shout out to Mind Unveiled. They dropped a powerful series on this. I'm pretty sure they work gonna come up in this study because Mind Unveiled, they be getting to it. But look at these ones, got the crystals next to it, right? Look how they all facing the crystal. Look at the crystal. These the Cabbage Patch Kids, right? Oh, they got a little brown one. Wait a minute. Right, but see, they got the crystal. I wonder what's the crystal got to do with this. The crystal now, we getting into some type of occult. We're gonna have to get into some type of alchemical recipe to create this. Right? This not natural, like you gonna wander in the field. This is we done figured out how to do this. And look, they got little Halloween costumes. Like, I'm trying to make it real before we go to the nether realm with it. You know what I mean? They got little Halloween costumes. You throw the kids in the baby stroller, push them around. He's a Cabbage Patch Kid. He's not really a toy. Right? You see the little box, like the little kid in a box. You know, it's a Cabbage Patch Kid. That's the costume. Right, that's interesting, right? Let's make it real. Before we make it surreal, let's make it real. The Cabbage Patch Kids, the toy, the Halloween costume. You know, you throw the wig on your baby, throw a onesie on him, throw him in the stroller in the box with the Cabbage Patch lining in the box. See the Cabbage Patch lining, blonde hair, blonde hair, blonde hair, blonde hair. Is that a recessive gene? You see the blue eyes, you see the lightning blue eyes of the little homunculus Cabbage Patch clone, artificial human, right? They go to lunchboxes. Let's make it real. This was a real thing when I was growing up. Okay, the toys, the lunchbox, the coloring books. Right, I'm not making this up. Nobody in this video was making nothing up. Okay, we gonna take that walk. We gonna walk it out. But you see the coloring book, ABC. Let's get busy.
Oh my days. Now this is how you can rewrite history with the orphan trains. So the orphan train movement was a supervised welfare program that transported children from crowded eastern cities of the United States to foster homes, located largely in the rural areas of the Midwest. The orphan trains operated between 1854 and 1929, relocating about 250,000 children. So let's do the maths. Imagine when these children grow up, they have 2 or 3 children of their own. Let's say 250,000 times 3. You're looking at 750,000 adults that had their names changed and their place of birth changed. How would you know who's who? Or how would you know who you really are? By the looks of it, this was big business. And of course, there was corruption. And what I want to know is, where was all the parents? You see, it's not hard to rewrite history. All you need to do is get rid of all the parents and elders, relocate the children, and you can teach them anything. And they won't believe you. We've got your ass. We've got your ass now. There's nothing new under the sun. Anything they're doing now has already been done. What you know about artificial humans and clones? At these world fairs, they would have incubators with premature babies on display. And people would come and pay just to look at these babies for entertainment. But you see, the thing is, that's what these elites like to do. They like to get you involved in their corruption and even charge you for it. People often ask me, after the last reset, where did they get all the people to repopulate the cities? And with the orphan trains, where did they get all the orphans from? And where was the parents? But that's just it. These children didn't have no parents. They was artificially created in these labs. And some was put on display at these fairs. Baby incubators for sale. Complete installations as operated by us. The hospitals and amusement parks. Like, it's one thing to have a baby incubator, but where are you getting all of these babies from? We make jokes about people being NPCs, bots, or soulless, but that's just the thing. Some things ain't a joke. These Cabbage Patch babies are symbolic. They're telling you that they can grow humans from scratch. And if they're telling you about it, it means they've been doing it for a very long time.
This is the artificial womb facility, a place where humans could be grown entirely from scratch. The devices you see here are called growth pods. Each growth pod is designed to replicate the same conditions that exist inside the mother's uterus. Growth pods are designed to host human fetuses until they are fully developed. These artificial wombs are designed to help premature babies to continue developing after their birth. But emerging scientific research is making it possible to use them to create designer humans entirely from scratch.
I tried to tell you that many people today are descendants of artificial humans and clones, and you didn't believe me. But when I say I got your ass, oh, I've got your ass. So after the mud flood and the Great Reset, they would have needed people to repopulate these cities. That's when the so-called baby incubators come into play. The first time the public saw these human growing pods was at the world's fairs, disguised as incubators for premature babies, at the same time that they came out with the Cabbage Patch babies. You have to understand, they always tell you what they're doing. You just have to be able to understand the language. By showing us these images, they are telling us that babies can be grown. I know this might be hard for some of you to understand, and it seems impossible. But believe me, nothing's impossible. Any technology that you see them with now, they've had for hundreds of years. So when you wonder where all these children came from in the orphan trains and why there was no parents, because these children were artificially grown. Oh my days. People often ask me, if there was a reset in the early 1800s, wouldn't everybody have to be in on it? Surely someone would have said something. But that's just the thing. Anyone that didn't follow the narrative or speak about the old world was thrown into one of these insane asylums. Did you know that in the 1800s, all across America and Canada, these insane asylums was opened? Understanding that many of these cities was only just founded, where do you think they was getting all of these insane people from? And how did they know there was going to be so many that they decided to build these massive structures to hold them in? This is the Central Lunatic Asylum in Ohio, built in 1832, and it looks just like a repurposed castle. This is the Columbia State Hospital, also in Ohio, and this was the biggest building in the United States until the Pentagon was built. And if you've been following me, you will know that I don't believe they even built this hospital. I believe it was from the old world, and they repurposed it as a detention center for anyone that spoke about the truth. I mean, just look. This is the St. Vincent Hospital in St. Louis, and they say it was built in 1894 and opened in 1895. So you're trying to tell me this took 1 year to build? So like I said, anyone that spoke about the reset, I tried to tell you that after the last reset, they was repopulating these cities with these artificial babies, and you didn't believe me. But when I say I got your ass, oh, I've got your ass. This is a postcard from 1910, and the message can't be any more clearer. It literally shows a machine with the words repopulation, and the man has a lock and the woman has the key. And if you think that's weird, then listen to this. There was a time when people used the postal service to mail their children. In the early days of the US Parcel Service, there weren't clear guidelines at what you could and couldn't mail. In January 1913, one Ohio couple took advantage of the US Postal Service's new parcel service to make a very special delivery. Their infant son. I mean, come on. What kind of unhumane thing is this? So once upon a time, it was legal to mail a baby in the United States. It happened more than once, and by all accounts. These people are not human. They have to tell you what they're doing. It's a part of their code. And this postal card is showing those artificial babies on those so-called orphan trains being shipped all over the country. Artificial humans and clones. Some people have no soul. As some of you may be aware, at these world fairs, they had so-called premature babies on display. But now we know that they was artificial humans. Mechanical mother. All the world loves a baby. But at what cost? These children was being produced in the hundreds and thousands. You all remember the story of Frankenstein. They always tell you in the movies of what they're really doing. But the only true problem with Frankenstein is he had no true emotions because he had no soul. Artificial humans